All right, and we are live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in. Running a few minutes late, so sorry. Scrambling to get everything up on the screen that I needed to share with you guys. So, should be all settled in. Should be able to hear me nice and loud, hopefully. If you can't, let me know, but should be good to go here. Got a nice slate with plenty of value, a 9-gamer, DraftKings and FanDuel. Should be plenty of stuff to go around. We got a lot of news coming out throughout the day, so um, lots of different opportunities here to kind of go ahead and capitalize on it. We got confirmation that there's not going to be any Kevin Durant. There's no Steph Curry. Two big names. Luka Doncic continues to be out. So a lot of good value to be had on the slate. A lot of good stuff to go over, and we're going to go ahead and go over it. So welcome in, guys. Waiting for people to file in here. What up, KJK 24/7 says? What's going on, man? Patrick, welcome in here. And yeah, 24/7 says, do not trust Steve Kerr rotation tonight. Yeah, man. I mean, they're only going to have so many people they can go with here, so we'll talk about that. But I think we can trust. We kind of know who he's on with in the past for the most part. I think there's some solid value there. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. We'll do a little bit of a game by game just to kind of sum up my thoughts, and then we'll get a little bit more into details with questions and stuff as we go along. But the first game on the slate is going to be LaMelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets taking on the Indiana Pacers. This game right now, it's going to come in with a 216 over-under with a 1-point spread in favor of the Charlotte Hornets. So expected to stay close. Expected to be somewhat of a decently paced game compared to some of these others. And we did just get confirmation that Nicholas Batum is ruled in. So there's one less piece of value, I guess you could say. Luke Kennard, Terrence Mann become worst plays on the Clippers after not really doing much last night. So that's maybe good for us. We don't have to worry about that too much. But Nicholas Batum has been ruled in. So that's the latest big piece of news there. Yeah, so this first game, Indiana taking on Charlotte. Both teams are completely healthy. I'm going to have limited interest here for the most part. Really not too interested in anyone until we get confirmation that maybe some more people are out. But I just think there's going to be other spots that we're willing to go to where there's just a bunch of different injuries that we can go to. There's going to be a bunch of value opening up. We're going to talk about it, but this Indiana-Charlotte game, I'm not too sure that it's one that I'm going to be getting too excited about, to be honest with you. I am going to continue to upgrade and update my projections, so if something changes, I will let you know, but I'm not getting too excited there in that first game for the most part. Golden State Warriors taking on Detroit is where things start to get interesting. We did get confirmation that Draymond Green's out. We got confirmation that Stephen Curry's out. The amount of value that just opened up is absolutely ridiculous. So Bjelica, Toscano Anderson, and Jonathan Kuminga should get more run as far as Draymond Green is concerned. As far as with Steph Curry being out, we're going to have a bunch of different guys that we can play to. A Jordan Poole, a Damian Lee being the main two candidates here. Chris Duarte just got ruled in. So, but this Golden State Warriors side, of course, it's going to be a lot of interest. So, Savon asked, LeBron James for cash on FanDuel. To my knowledge, we don't even know if LeBron James is playing yet, so I can't exactly answer that question. He's still a game-time decision, so kind of need him to be confirmed in before we can be talking about playing him in cash. And if he's ruled in, I'm not too sure that I really want to go there for cash. As a matter of fact, I pretty much guarantee I don't want it. That would mean the LA Lakers have their 3 studs back. Not really trying to go there when we have all these other guys that are dealing with shorthanded teams. We're still waiting on some Boston Celtics news as well. It's a possibility that Dennis Schroeder could be out. That could open up even more usage. So there's a lot of really good stuff to be had. But on this Warriors side, for sure, it's all going to start here. We're going to have Steph and Curry out. So that means Andrew Wiggins is a great play. Jordan Poole's a great play. Gary Payton II becomes a good value for you. Kuminga at 3-4. I don't really think that he's going to get the most amount of run. He's going to be probably the most interesting one that could possibly mess things up a little bit. But there's no Iguodala and there's no Otto Porter either. So it's like Steve Kerr really can't get too fancy with this rotation, guys. I mean, he's got Moses Moody, Chris Chiozza, Jeff Doughton off the bench. Like Bjelica, Andrew Wiggins, Toscano Anderson, Gary Payton II, Wiggins, Damian Lee, Jordan Poole. All those guys that I just listed, I'm going to have a very hard time seeing them be letdowns in this game. So, especially the price tag. Damian Lee at 3-1 comes one of the best value plays, if not the best value play on the slate. It's just way too easy to be fitting him in my lineups, way too easy to be fitting him in your lineups. We're going to be able to jam in all of the studs that we possibly want, and it's going to be fun to build your lineups tonight. If you're not liking your lineups tonight when you're building, you're probably doing something wrong, because it's going to be very easy to like your lineup. You're going to be able to jam in so many studs, anyone and everyone that you want. As far as the value you're really not going to be all too nervous about, because the value is so apparently obvious. So everything kind of making sense, and Damian Lee is certainly going to be one of those very obvious guys. So he's certainly someone that I'm going to be looking to play in a lot of my lineups tonight, and someone that you guys should be taking a hard look to. Then we have Toscano, Anderson, and Bjelica as well. Those three guys going to be too cheap. Bjelica all the way down to 3-2. Way too cheap. Way too easy to be playing. Don't even have to overthink it. We know where the minutes are going. We know where the usage is going. And all these guys are going to be extremely underpriced. So, as far as having to fade or determine if we're really worth playing these guys in your lineups, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be kind of difficult to be fading them. They're certainly worth playing. And they're going to be some of the top values on the slate. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of an update as we speak right now. If there's anything that shakes up, I can certainly let you guys know. But I can pretty much guarantee there's not going to be. So, yeah, this Golden State Warriors side, certainly going to be some great value. Who's your lock of the night? I don't have a lock of the night. I wasn't able to put out an earlier video, so we'll talk about it as we go here. I mean, there's so many candidates for lock of the night, guys. It's this slate, it just became completely just torn apart with injuries. We've gotten so much news. There's so many good plays. My lock of the night probably isn't going to be too eventful if I give you guys a lock of the night, so I wouldn't worry about it. I think we can just go ahead and kind of break down the slate as we go, and you're going to have a pretty good idea of who I'm liking and being able to build lineups that you like a lot. Colin asks, Stars and Scrubs night. Yeah, it's definitely Stars and Scrubs night, man. It's if you're not building Stars and Scrubs on this slate, you're probably doing it wrong. So there's just way too much value to be had, solidified value. We know they're going to get the minutes, all that fun stuff. And the Warriors' value is certainly one of those teams that we just talked about that's going to have all that value. Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole, all the way down to a Damian Lee, a Bjelica. So, yeah, the value is going to be there. It's going to be very easy to be building Stars and Scrubs build. There's just guys that are too cheap, and I certainly would have interest in that. We're getting a bunch of news of guys being ruled in. Jalen Suggs in, Daniel Gafford's in, Chris Duarte's in, Nicholas Batum's in. We're waiting on this LeBron James news and the Robert Williams and Dennis Schroeder news in this LA Lakers-Celtics game. That's going to clear up a lot for us. Just give you guys a bit of a breakdown. If Schroeder's in, of course, he's going to be a great play. If he's out, it's going to be Peyton Bouchard, Josh Richardson, and Romeo Langford. We already got confirmation that there is no Jaylen Brown in this one, so it's going to continue to be a great Jason Tatum spot with boosted usage. And the only thing that we're really waiting on would be that secondary news of Robert Williams and Dennis Schroeder. Robert Williams is out. That's going to give an even further bump up to an Al Horford. If there's anyone else down here on the Boston rotation as well, they're probably going to get some more minutes in the rotation. So that's certainly big news. And then also, of course, Marcus Smart. If there's no Dennis Schroeder, he's going to get a big bump up as well. So if we get confirmation that Schroeder's out, that is some very relevant news. It's going to open up even more value for us on this slate tonight, and we can definitely be looking to all these Celtics guys. So Sir Dwayne Moody says, great call on Kuzma last night. Got him at 9%. Attaboy. Glad to hear I was able to help out with that. So Kuzma, yeah, it was a great play last night. I'm really surprised he was that low owned. He had an obvious boost up with there being no Dinwiddie, so glad I was able to help you out there. Orlando taking on Brooklyn is going to be the next game on this slate. Markelle Fultz continues to be out. Joe Harris out. Michael Carter-Williams continues to be out. Kevin Durant listed as out, obviously being the big piece of news in this game right here. Kevin Durant being out, that's going to make James Harden one of the best pay-up spots, if not the best pay-up spot on the slate. It just becomes very obvious that he's going to dominate the usage here. You could make an argument for fading him and going to some of these cheaper Brooklyn Nets guys, but good luck, because his usage is just going to go through the roof. We know he produces at a very high rate, and when you take Kevin Durant off the floor, he's just going to produce at an even higher rate. So James Harden is going to be a big priority for me, putting up 1.36 DK points per minute. Take Kevin Durant off the floor, chances are that 1.36 is going to turn into 1.5 plus very, very quickly. Going to be producing more along these Stephen Curry numbers of 1.59 DK points per minute. So James Harden is certainly going to be one of the best plays on the slate. Love him a lot, and I love a lot of this Brooklyn value. So, you're looking to, with there being no Joe Harris, Bruce Brown's going to be an automatic play. Patty Mills continues to be starting. Blake Griffin should get a bump up in rotation. Bruce Brown's going to be my favorite of the bunch at 4-2, as is with KD in. This guy's been playing tremendous. Now you take KD out of the rotation, he's just going to get even more usage. And he gets one of the best possible matchups you could ask for. This whole entire team gets one of the best possible matchups you could ask for, because the Orlando Magic defense has been absolutely terrible. Looking at my premium content over here on Patreon and looking at my sheets, they rank, right now, Orlando does 28th in the league as far as points per possession rank, 28th in all transition points per possession rank. And then as far as in transition, then when you go over to the half-court setting, they're 28th in offensive rebound percentage rank. They're giving up a bunch of rebounds. They're giving up a lot of points. They're giving up everything that you could possibly want. So Brooklyn should be in a tremendous spot here, taking on the Orlando Magic. Going to have a lot of interest in these value pieces. Then you could also be talking about a DeAndre Bembry as well. DeAndre Bembry's all the way down to 3K. He's going to get a bump up in minutes. He's going to get plenty of usage. Yeah, this is, once again, the Brooklyn side of things and the Golden State Warriors side of things. Going to be some of the best value on the slate. I mean, it's next to impossible to avoid. It's certainly going to be a stars and scrubs slate. We're talking about like 5 to 6 valid guys that are playable in the 3K range. Just going to be too easy for us to be building our stars and scrubs lineups, guys, today. So certainly be getting a ton of exposure to this Brooklyn side of things. And that's going to open up a bunch of value for your studs in your lineup. So, I mean, James Harden, obviously, we just talked about it. He's going to be one of the best studs on the slate. You can pay all the way up for him. If you need the salary relief, it shouldn't be too difficult to do so with the Golden State Warriors and the Brooklyn side of things. So you should be able to make some really good lineups that you really like, that look really pretty on paper, and that put up high scores. It should be a very, very high scoring night tonight. Don't be shocked if this is the scoring for you to cash is way higher than normal, because it's just going to be too easy. All right, any more questions? Any update on Jokic, question mark, Colin asked. Yeah, Jokic, we got an update just saying that he's questionable, but that's not really an update as far as a confirmation on whether he's going to be in or out. But we did get an update saying that he's questionable, so he's not officially out yet. He's not officially in. So that would be the latest update on him. The Prince asks, I'm late. What did I miss? Yeah, Prince, we're just going over the slate right now, a little bit of game by game. We're going to answer questions, but we're just talking about the Orlando and the Brooklyn game. On the Brooklyn side of things, all these guys are going to be a ton of really good values with there being no Kevin Durant. On the Warriors side of things, there's going to be a ton of good value with there's no being Stephen Curry, no Draymond Green. So it's going to be very easy to be building some of our lineups with some of these value pieces that we talked about, like a Damian Lee, like a Bruce Brown, like a Bielitsa. Should be very, very easy to be, really making good lineups tonight. Paying up for studs. Giannis Antetokounmpo could be one of those studs. I got a question in the chat. Giannis or Sabonis? Really, the only question about Giannis is whether this game stays close. It is a very big spread. There's a solid chance that the Milwaukee Bucks absolutely blow out the Oklahoma City Thunder, and if that's the case, Giannis Antetokounmpo probably not going to get the most minutes, and the Milwaukee Bucks are starting to get healthy. So it's a little less than ideal there. We have Giannis now, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, all these guys coming back and kind of going to affect Giannis Antetokounmpo's usage, I would say, his minutes, all the above, and the likelihood that this game stays close isn't very high. So I'm leaning towards not going up to Giannis all too much, just because there's some other guys in games that I would expect to stay closer the majority of the time that I know that we could go to, like a Paul George, who's going to continue to see a bunch of usage here. On the Clipper side of things, as long as there's no Kawhi Leonard, this game's expected to stay a lot closer. The New Orleans Pelicans have been absolutely terrible defensively. It's a great matchup. It's a 4-point spread in favor of the LA Clippers, so the game's expected to stay close. And then, like I said, the Pelicans defense has been terrible. Looking at my defensive half-court and putbacks and my defensive transition premium tools over here on Patreon, I have the New Orleans Pelicans ranked dead last in the league in points per possession rank. They are 30th in the league in points per possession rank in the half-court setting. In the transition setting, they are absolutely terrible. So I don't mind targeting this New Orleans Pelicans defense whatsoever. We did just get confirmation that Robert Williams and Dennis Schroeder are true game-time decisions. That doesn't really help us, but we're going to have to keep our eyes on our screens and on the news all the way up until the 7:30 game for LA Lakers and Boston in your lineups, because that's really big news, guys. Schroeder, Williams, LeBron James in that game, that's going to impact a lot of things, so certainly going to keep an eye on that. But yeah, Giannis, like, it's going to be easy to fit Giannis in your lineups, and for that reason, I think Giannis's ownership is going to be very, very high in this slate, so maybe going down to, like, a sub-tier pay-up guy is a good way of getting different. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people are worried about the blowout with Giannis, and it's not just me, and then of which you're dealing with a whole different situation, but that'd be kind of my approach here. Devontae Graham's listed as questionable as well. If he's listed as out, that's certainly going to shake things up for the Pelicans rotation. Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Garrett Temple are going to become much better plays. You'll also be looking to a usage bump for a Josh Hart on the New Orleans Pelicans side of things, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker in general. These two guys would become much, much better plays if there is indeed no Devontae Graham in this one. And then, of course, Brandon Ingram, Jonas Valanciunas are going to get much better bumps up as well. Just not as directly correlated with being on-ball duty guards. I could get more usage, more assist upside, all that stuff. Josh Hart and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I think, will be more directly impacted. And then on the Clipper side of things, you could certainly be taking a look to Reggie Jackson, Eric Bledsoe in the mid-range, but with confirmation that Nicholas Batum is going to be in this game, it's not looking quite as ideal as it would be if we got confirmation that Batum was out, just because that opens up way more minutes, way more usage. But, he is back in this one, so... next game on the slate, Chicago taking on Denver. Nikola Jokic listed as questionable. Of course, that's very big news too. JaMychal Green and Jeff Green would be in line for more minutes if he is out. That would also give a huge bump up in usage to all of these Denver guys. So that's going to be certainly some big news that we're waiting on here. Patrick says, let's smash the like button. Yeah, Patrick, thank you. I appreciate that, man. If you guys can leave a like, that'd be greatly appreciated. We got 11 people in here right now, only 6 likes. So I know there's some of you that haven't liked it. So if you're enjoying the stream, take 2 seconds to do that. That would be greatly appreciated. Takes 2 seconds. It's free. It goes a long way in helping me out, and I'll be here all NBA season long, breaking down these slates, help you guys become better players, help you win some money, like I am right now. So Nikola Jokic listed as questionable, so that's obviously big news. Will Barton, Will Barton and Aaron Gordon would become much better plays if there is no Nikola Jokic. They're going to both take on a bunch of usage in this offense, bunch of responsibility, as well as Monte Morris. So certainly some big news there on the Nikola Jokic side of things. And then, of course, like we talked about, JaMychal Green and Jeff Green would become much more valid value plays as well. And it would be pretty easy to getting even more value in your lineups, which wouldn't hurt our feelings whatsoever there. So certainly no issues with that. 24/7 says, I like Brooklyn value more than Warriors value. Yeah, man, you can pick whatever you want. I mean... it's going to be tough for me to not be playing both values, to be honest with you. DePrince asked, do we have to run it back with Orlando? He's not necessarily. I was thinking the same thing earlier when I was kind of going through it, because it's like there's such a huge spread, Brooklyn being such big favorites. Like, do we have to run it back with them? But I'm not really thinking so, because... with so much really, really cheap value on the Warriors side, like being only like 3K, is it really necessary for us to be jamming in these Magic guys that might keep the game close but might score like the same amount of fantasy points as these cheaper guys? Not really so. So you certainly can run it back. Like, there's chances are if this game stays close, one of the Orlando guys is going to have a big game. A Cole Anthony, a Wendell Carter Jr., a Mo Bamba, like one of those three is probably going to have a pretty relevant big game at their price tag. It's just, do we really need that on a slate like this? Probably not. So, yeah, that's a good question. Like, I was thinking that too, but it's just like probably not. When there's so many cheap guys for salary and run back options, I'm going to like it. Nikola Vucevic continues to be on the Chicago side, so that's going to continue to make DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and Lonzo Ball, the 3 guys, better plays as well. So that's just something to take note of here. They're going to have higher usage. Not nearly as some of these other guys we've been talking about, but they're interesting plays. Toronto, OG Anunoby continues to be out as well. So that's certainly some big news here, because that's going to open up more minutes and usage for other guys in the Toronto rotation. So a guy like a Scotty Barnes, a guy like a Fred VanVleet, a guy like a Pascal Siakam, a guy like a Gary Trent Jr., those 4 guys specifically, all going to see all of the minutes they can handle, all the usage they can handle. Gary Trent Jr. is just way too cheap at 6K on DraftKings. He's been consistently putting up like 40-plus DraftKings points. So I certainly have interest in him, and I certainly have interest in these other core pieces on the Toronto side. They're going to see all of those solidified minutes. Kem Birch as well, all the way down to 3K. Another really cheap guy on DraftKings that you could be playing in your lineups, and he gets a much better matchup than he did last night. Last night taking on the Utah Jazz, and Rudy Gobert was able to put up 22 DraftKings points. He remains minimum salary. There continues to be A number of guys being out on the Toronto side, obviously, most notably, who we just discussed in OG Anunoby, but also Achiawa. Precious Achiawa is listed as questionable. We really need him to be out to have Birch as a good play. If Achiawa's in, though, he becomes a great value play as well. And he might be something or someone that no one's looking to. So he could be a really sneaky value play for you in your tournament lineups. I don't know what he is on FanDuel. Let's go ahead and check that out. He's 5.5 on FanDuel. A little less than ideal on FanDuel, but still, he's going to get a lot of minutes at 5.5. You could go there. But certainly like his price tag a lot more on DraftKings. In the last game, Dallas taking on Phoenix, we did get confirmation that Luka Doncic is out. We got confirmation that Frank Kaminsky remains to be out. So Jalen Brunson, Kristaps Porzingis, obviously going to be two of the greatest plays on the Dallas side of things. They should see all the usage that they can handle. It's going to be a nationally televised game. Jalen Brunson and Tim Hardaway Jr. also going to be intriguing options with there being no Luka Doncic. Tim Hardaway Jr. shot 23 times last time out. Only made 9 of them, only put up 35 DraftKings points. But if he's going to get that amount of usage, obviously he's a great play for a reason. And, you could definitely be looking to some of these guys in this last game. JaVale McGee at 3.9 should continue to see a decent amount of minutes. He's seen anywhere from like 11 to 25 minutes, though. A little bit versatile in his playing time. Probably a lot safer going to a guy like a Jay Crowder all the way down to 4.3 on Phoenix. He's going to continue to see a bunch of minutes with there being no Frank Kaminsky in this one. Should continue to be able to produce at a very high rate for the Phoenix Suns at times. So he's a good versatile tournament play that you could certainly be playing in your lineups. All right, let's see if we have any more questions here. With Curry being out, are you liking Poole? I Heart Battle Rap says, yeah, of course, man. Jordan Poole becomes like one of the best plays on the slate. Yeah, I like Jordan Poole a lot. That's not a hot take by any means. I'm sure anyone that you talk to will say they like Jordan Poole. But they're not wrong. I mean, Jordan Poole is going to be one of the best plays on the slate. So, I mean, I certainly like Jordan Poole a lot. I like Peyton tonight. Patrick says, yeah, Peyton could certainly be a good play. He's been very energetic. He's been kind of a nice little role guy for this Golden State Warriors side of things. And I think he's kind of a teammate favorite, a fan favorite within the organization. So always fun to be cheering for a guy like that. He's been capped out right around like 15 to 21 minutes. When he's gotten the minutes, he's been able to produce. So you certainly could be looking to some Gary Payton. My only issue is Gary Payton's 3.8 on DraftKings, and we have Damian Lee, who's expected to start all the way down to 3.1. We also have Bielitsa, who's expected to start all the way down to 3.2. So it's like, do I really want to go to Gary Payton? And then Gary Payton's also priced up a little bit more on FanDuel. So that would be my counter argument there, Patrick. But I do think Gary Payton would probably be the lower owned of the bunch. I also think he probably should be. He's probably the most risky of the bunch. Tatum or zero. Tatum or DeRozan on DraftKings? Well, we are still waiting on some pretty big Boston news, but I would say Tatum. I mean, this game's going to be nationally televised. Tatum's going to want to have a big game for the Boston side of things. If there's no Dennis Schroeder and there's no Robert Williams, it's just going to increase Tatum's usage even more. So that's certainly some big news to be keeping your eyes on. But yeah, I mean, Tatum... They need Tatum real bad to keep this game close. We're waiting on the LeBron James news. We're waiting on the Robert Williams news, all that stuff. But Tatum's like one of my favorite plays on the slate. So as far as from a pay-up option aspect, with there being no Jaylen Brown still, I think he's going to continue to see a ton of usage. I like him on both websites. There's plenty of value to be fitting him in your lineups on both websites. So Jason Tatum is certainly a valid play for me tonight. Certainly approve of that. All right, guys, let me know if you have any more questions. It's reaching about 6 o'clock right now. We got 10 likes. So if we can get that up to 20, that'd be awesome. Thank you to everyone that's left a like on the stream so far. I think we've done a pretty good job of covering the slate overall. If you joined in late, though, please let me know. If you have any questions, don't feel shy to ask. It's definitely going to be a stars and scrubs slate. We kind of solidified that. We have so many good values on the Golden State Warriors side of things. Damian Lee, Bielitsa, Toscano Anderson. On the Brooklyn side of things, Bruce Brown's going to be a great play. Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge. Also, with there being no Kevin Durant, they should both get a lot more rebounding upside. So both Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge are going to be intriguing plays as well. On the Brooklyn side of things, you could really play anyone in Brooklyn. You could play anyone on the Golden State Warriors side of things. You could pay up for pretty much anyone you want, and you're feeling pretty good about your lineups. I mean, just alone by putting Damian Lee and Bielitsa in your lineups, who are two of the best values, and then maybe like a Bruce Brown, who's a third best value on the slate. You're dealing with like 7,900. So if we just go ahead and try to jam in all the most expensive guys on the slate, we'll put in Giannis, we'll put in Jokic, we'll put in, let's just put in Luka for the fun of things. I know he's out. 11.9, that leaves us with like 1.6 per player. So if we go down from Luka to, let's say, Jalen Brunson, because we know Jalen Brunson is going to be a good play, that still leaves us with like 4,200 per player. I mean, that's just going to allow you to put in a lot of really expensive guys. The fact that you can fit in Giannis and Jokic very easily in the same lineup on a slate is not very common. And that's kind of what we're dealing with tonight. So the Prince asks, favorite FanDuel center. Yeah, favorite FanDuel center. I can pull that up for you here. But I don't know. On the cheap end, we definitely have some options with like a Blake Griffin. My favorite FanDuel center would probably be either Jonas Valanciunas or Mo Bamba. They're priced in a little bit different ranges, but from an upside at their respective price tag. Jonas Valanciunas is at 8.2. I like him a lot at that price tag. I also like Mo Bamba a lot at his price tag at 7K. The only other thing that I would say is if Nikola Jokic does get ruled in with all the value that we had, it's probably pretty easy to be paying all the way up for a Nikola Jokic at 11.3. So if you want to go to Nikola Jokic, no issues with you going to him whatsoever either. So he would certainly be someone that I would be, willing to go with in my lineups. So no issues with you going there whatsoever. And yeah, guys, got a few more things to review here we're going to talk about. If you're enjoying the content, if you could subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload, that'd be greatly appreciated. You can check out my premium packages over here on Patreon. I'm actually going to go ahead and put a link in the chat. I always forget to do this, so I'll help you guys out. But you can get access to my premium NBA projections, player stats, team stats, play contact stats, core plays, and all that fun stuff. And you get to ask me questions and other people in the Discord chat all the way up until lock. If you're interested in asking any questions about maybe what people are interested in on the slate and all of that fun stuff. So if you are interested in premium content, I just dropped that in the chat. You should have the link and be able to access it fairly easily here. Hopefully that makes your life a little bit easier. I've had lots of questions of how to sign up. When you do sign up, just I'll get sent an email that you signed up. I'll get notified. You're going to be locked out of the tools initially because I have to give you permission to join. And then once you ask for permission, you can message me on Patreon. You can message me. A lot of people do on Twitter when I ask them not to. I'd really prefer you do it on Patreon because it gets kind of in the shuffle on Twitter if there's a bunch of people DMing me. But yeah, so check that out if you're interested. It's 6:02. We got like 30 minutes left of the live stream. Ask any questions that you have. It doesn't look like we have too many questions. See if we have anything else coming in here as far as news. I don't think we got anything too crazy right now. For my premium members, I'm going to be upgrading and updating my... I say upgrading and updating interchangeably, two different things, but you get what I'm saying. I'm going to be updating my core plays as well. My projections and all that fun stuff, so keep an eye on that. And yeah, guys, I mean... On DraftKings, Bielitsa and Damian Lee are just going to be two, absolute locks. I like them both on FanDuel as well, but I would be starting my lineups with Damian Lee and Bielitsa, and maybe even a Toscano Anderson as well on DraftKings. They're all 3.2, 3K. It's just way too cheap. Patrick says, check out the premium content, guys. The price is better than most DFS sites. Yeah, thanks, Patrick. Yeah, I think it's very affordable. I think you can win your money back very quickly. I know that Patrick's been doing very well in the season so far, so I'm glad to hear that, Patrick. And we're going to keep it rolling tonight. All right, guys. I mean, hopefully we get more news. Okay, Peyton, we just got confirmation on the starting lineup. Peyton, Poole, Wiggins, Toscano, Anderson, and Looney. Okay, so that does make Peyton a little bit more interesting now that he's starting for sure. I still think that Damian Lee off the bench is a tremendous play. Bielitsa off the bench is a tremendous play. Those guys, not worried about playing them whatsoever. But I do think that Gary Payton starting does actually give him a pretty significant upgrade. So that is relevant news. If you want to go to Gary Payton, I wouldn't call you crazy whatsoever. He's been producing at a very high rate. If we look at his DraftKings points per minute, pull it up here for you guys just to give you some physical proof on screen and some actual numbers. Gary Payton II, he's been putting up 1.09 DK points per minute. That is over a 14-game sample size for Gary Payton, I believe. Let's see. 15 games for Gary Payton, 196-minute sample size. So, I mean, he's been producing at a very high rate. Now he's going to get the start. Gary Payton becomes a great play for sure. So, any doubt that I had before about him, I'm going to like him a lot more now. The Prince says, I'm getting there with the content as well. Yeah, man, I'm glad that you're liking it. I think that these tools should help you to be able to make better lineups. If you have any feedback, I'm always open to improving it in any way that I can. But I've put a lot of work into this package. I'll pull it up on the screen for free. I always like to give you guys like one free sneak peek of one of these sheets. So I have like 20 of these sheets. So this one in particular that I'm going to pull up on the screen for you guys, this is my defensive shooting accuracy tool. So this is going to show the accuracy of opposing teams and how they've shot against defenses. So, like, for instance, the Toronto Raptors have given up the most effective shooting percentage from a field goal perspective in the whole league. 55.5% of shots against them have been converted on. So they're really struggling. They're really struggling in the long mid-range shot, around the rim. You can see around the rim statistics here, mid-range statistics, non-corner three statistics, all this fun stuff. And this is just one sheet. I have defensive shooting, offensive shooting accuracy, defensive shooting frequency, defensive transition, offense transition, defensive half court, offense half court, team stats summary, team stats for stats, advanced player metrics, and all that stuff. So like this is a sneak peek of kind of one of the sheets you'll be getting for the premium content, but keep in mind you'll be getting like this in 20 different versions with all very valuable metrics. So you can figure out the top plays in your lineups. Alongside the projections and the Discord chat and the core plays and the advanced player metrics. So it's a lot of stuff to help you with your lineups. I don't think we've received any news. I'm feeling really good about this slate. Hopefully you guys are too. It's going to be very easy to be constructing lineups that you really like. So, yeah, I mean, I'm getting excited to build lineups. I've been doing a little bit of lineup building. It's very easy to be jamming on these studs. Like I said, I do think you should be feeling very confident about it and feeling pretty good about your lineups going into the slate tonight. If you're not feeling good about it, I think you're probably doing something wrong because we have a really nice, solid slate here. We can pay up for guys. We can pay down for guys. You can pretty much do whatever we want. And certainly going to be an exciting one, I think, with some very high scoring. So, yeah. Let me know if you have any more questions in the chat. Please ask any if you do. Honestly, things are starting to die down here, so if that's the case, I might bounce out a little bit earlier than 6:30 just because I got premium content to upgrade. I have my projections to update. I have lineups to build, all that stuff. I think we've done a pretty good job of running through this whole slate. On FanDuel, I'll do a quick run through. As always, I like to go ahead and kind of clarify if there's any real big pricing discrepancies on the two sites. A lot of it's going to be the same, though. Like, Bielitsa is all the way down to 3.8 on FanDuel. Bielitsa is just going to be a very easy play for me. That's just too easy to be locking in your lineups. He's too cheap, so I like him a lot. Damian Lee's only 4K. Blake Griffin's only 3.9 over here on FanDuel. Toscano Anderson at 3.6 is certainly going to be a valid play over here on FanDuel. He produces at a pretty high rate when he gets a chance. He gets plenty of blocks and steals. He's close to minimum salary. Going to like him a lot. Gary Payton, we got confirmation on. Bruce Brown is going to be a great play. Jordan Poole. I mean, all of these Golden State Warriors, Brooklyn guys grading out as great plays. Josh Giddey at only 5.8 on FanDuel continues to be underpriced. He's been receiving a lot of ownership on FanDuel, and for a good reason. Maybe he's just way under-owned tonight because of all this other value going on. So Josh Giddey's another guy you could be looking to. Wendell Carter Jr. at only 6.2 Speaking about a run back option on the Orlando Magic side of things, Wendell Carter Jr. is just way too cheap. I talked about liking Mo Bamba quite a bit as well. But Wendell Carter Jr. at only 6'2" on FanDuel is certainly a good option that you could be looking to. And yeah, guys, the list could be going on and on here. James Harden, obviously going to be a great spend-up option. If I didn't make it clear enough, James Harden's like, got to be the top spend-up option now that there's no Kevin Durant. I think that James Harden and Paul George are probably my two favorite spend-up options on the slate. There's a lot of different places to go, but those two guys are really piquing my interest. So, John asks, is Mills a good play on DraftKings? Yeah, I think Mills is a good play on DraftKings and FanDuel. He's really cheap. I mean, he can be very versatile, so there's chances are he's either going to do very good for you or not so good. We have so many other options in the same range as him that might lower his ownership lower than what it should be. So yeah, I think Patty Mills is certainly a good play on DraftKings. With the defense shooting accuracy, that's how you know who to attack? Question mark to Prince asks. Yeah, to Prince, that's one of the tools, man. Like, you have full access, so you can see everything. But the defense half court putbacks tool, you can see how they're doing in the half court. Defense transition, you can see how they're doing in transition. But essentially what you're doing is you're establishing what other opposing teams have been good at and what they've struggled with so that you can identify the type of mold of player that would succeed against them. So, like, a good example would be Giannis Antetokounmpo at 12-3. Obviously, Giannis is like an extreme example because he's really, really good. But Giannis is very good at finishing around the rim. So if I go to that defensive shooting and accuracy thing and I see that they've really been struggling around the rim, I'm going to have a lot of interest in them. But you could also go to my defense transition or defense half-court and putbacks, and you can see the amount of offensive live rebounds, points per play ranked, the amount of offensive rebound frequency, so how often teams are giving up offensive rebounds, all that fun stuff. Because a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo is capable of obviously doing everything. He can go to the rim. He's huge, very strong, very complete player. He's going to have a very strong success rate against teams that aren't good on the inside interior because they just can't guard around the rim, and Giannis is going to do good against that. So that's kind of what those tools are for. And let me know if you have any more questions, guys. I don't think we have any more news. I've been keeping an eye on my phone. I always have kind of an alert center here to pull this up for you guys when something goes off. I don't really think we have anything else, though. We got confirmation. We're waiting on the Dennis Schroeder and Robert Williams news. Obviously, that's going to be very big news. So hopefully we get that sooner rather than later. But yeah, overall, I'm feeling very good. Feeling very good about my lineups. I think you guys should too. Please leave any questions you have in the chat, and I'll gladly answer them. Any more questions? If not, I'll probably bounce out, guys. It seems like the questions are kind of dying down. I feel like the value and everything on the slate's so obvious. We know where everyone's going, but it's just too good to pass up. So, like, both websites, you can plug in the value. You can plug in a Bielitsa on DraftKings. You can plug in Damian Lee and maybe play Gary Payton now as well. And you could play James Harden all the way up at his price tag now. You could play Giannis. You could play maybe another pay-up option at the small forward, maybe a Jason Tatum or a Paul George. That still leaves you with 3-1 per player. And we have so many value plays you can be going to. So maybe we could play like a DeAndre Bembry as well for Brooklyn. Bruce Brown's a guy that I would really be prioritizing. So Bruce Brown at 4-2, I would certainly be trying to get in your lineups. But other than that, guys, I mean, you could just fit in so many different value plays, so much good pay-up options. Same rules going to be set for over here on FanDuel. You go to FanDuel, you can just lock in any of these value plays you want. Maybe a Bielitsa, maybe a Toscano Anderson. That's two cheap guys. That's going to allow you to maybe pay up for a Jokic, pay up for a James Harden, pay up for a Russell Westbrook. That's still going to leave you with like 5-4 per player. We know there's a bunch of other value in these ranges. So yeah, guys, I mean, the world is kind of yours on the slate. You can build whatever you want, and you should be feeling very confident about your lineups. All right, it looks like we don't have any more questions. So if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to hang around for like 2 more minutes, and then I'm going to head out because I have to update my premium content. So if you are interested in the premium content, I did leave a link in the chat. I'll go ahead and do that again for you guys to make it easy on you if you've been having a hard time finding where that's located. I link it in all of my videos in the description as well. But that'll lead you right to the premium content. You can pick the package that you'd like to sign up for if you are interested. If not, no worries. I'll be here all season giving you these free streams and answering your questions. So yeah. 11 likes, trying to get to 20, guys. If you have enjoyed the stream, if you could take a second to leave a like, that would be greatly appreciated. Looks like everyone's feeling pretty good about their lineups. We don't have many questions. It's definitely going to be a stars and scrubs build, and I'm looking forward to it, guys. So if there's no more questions, it was a good live stream. Nice talking with you guys. I'll be back tomorrow as well, breaking down these slates. Hopefully you enjoyed. You can check out the premium content if you're interested. You can get my core plays, all that fun stuff leading up to lock. And yeah, this is going to be all for me. So hopefully you enjoyed the live stream. Hopefully you're feeling pretty confident about your lineups. If you did enjoy the live stream, leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. That would be very greatly appreciated. And until next time, we will see you in the next one. Wish you guys all the best of luck. We'll see the premium members in the Discord chat. And I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. So best of luck, everyone. Peace.